music and film industry's top vocal coach, Roger Love. He's Hollywood's go-to guy.
I will be going to vocal exercises, vocal warming up with my coach. He's amazing.
They'll say the words. I was looking in the mirror, trying to find the way you know.
Trying to find.
Roger's the man behind music superstars like Gwen Stefani, the Jonas Brothers, John Mayer, Eminem, Maroon 5, Bret Michaels, and the casts of hit television series like Scrubs, Entourage, and the music sensation Blade. It's my life, it's now or never. I ain't gonna live forever. When the film industry needs to turn actors into singers, they call the best in the business, Roger Love.
Hello, I'm Johnny Cash.
His work with the stars of Walk the Line helped earn an Oscar nomination for Joaquin Phoenix and a Best Actress win for Reese Witherspoon.
Never coming back.
And Roger's vocal direction on the film Crazy Heart garnered Oscars for Best Song and for actor Jeff Bridges.
And I especially want to thank Roger Love, man.
All right, so let's stand up and give a warm superhero welcome. Get ready to activate your superhero voice to Roger Love. Thank you so much.
Hello. Amazing. I've already learned more this morning in an hour than I've learned for the last 6 months, and that's not a joke. When I was 16 years old, I had been studying voice. I wanted to be an opera singer when I was young, and I'd been studying voice since I was 13. When I was 16, my voice teacher said, hey, I just happen to be going to Banff to teach a master class. Would you come over after school and teach a few lessons? And I said, sure, I would love to come over after school. There's only one problem. I'm just a student. I have no idea in the world how to teach voice. And he said, oh, don't let that stop you. Just show up. So I show up, and my first day, 16 years old, as a never been trained how to teach voice coach, I had Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys, Earth, Wind and Fire, The Fifth Dimension, the Jacksons, Stevie Wonder, Luther Vandross, all of these incredible artists that I had every one of their records and admired every single one of them. And I was suddenly faced with the opportunity to teach them something. And I thought, well, I've really got nothing. You know, I only know a limited amount of jokes, and certainly that's not going to get me all the way through the next hour. And I thought, what could I lean on to at least start the process? And I thought, well, my voice teacher has this incredible voice, speaking voice. And when he would speak, people would just listen. You would just want to give him the shirt off your back. He had all of this volume that was engaging, and he had all of this melody. His voice went up and down. It was as if every time he was speaking my favorite song. And I thought, well, why don't I just imitate his voice? Maybe they won't notice. Now, he was like 60 and I was 16, but I had a lot of hair, and I thought maybe they wouldn't notice. So I launched into the concept of, if I sound like him, they won't notice. 6 months later, when he came back from Banff, every single one of his celebrities wanted to stay and study with me, because we all found through trial and error that I actually had a way and a love of working with voices, and I could make big changes fast. And so some people go their whole lives trying to find their passion. I knew early on that my passion was music and voice, but I actually found a career and a life that I loved at 16, so he brought me in as a junior partner. So at 16 and a half, I was already the #2 most famous voice teacher, maybe in the country, maybe in the world, by virtue of what he had already created, all the celebrities that were there. And we stayed together for 17 years. And I had the great fortune of learning from and working with some of the greatest singers and entertainers in the world. And along that path, speakers started coming to me. People like Tony Robbins, and people like John Gray, and Susie Orman, and Glenn Beck. And I started turning them away at the beginning, saying, look, I'm just a singing voice coach. I mean, go to a speech guy if you want, but that's not my thing. And yet these people that were coming were so incredibly interesting and so motivational and so powerful, and I could see that they were changing so many people's lives that on a whim, again, I just said, what the heck? I will start saying yes to these amazing speakers. And I went from the standpoint of there obviously is a tremendous amount for me to learn to create techniques to teach these speakers, because I had gotten very, very good after 17 years of really being focused on teaching singers. And when a singer gets up on stage, they have incredible amount of control over the audience, incredible amounts of influence abilities. Would you agree with me? A singer, I was working with Madonna, a singer like Madonna was changing the whole culture. Everybody was wanting to have the hair like that and dress like that and say the things that she said. And if she had an English accent, everybody wanted to have an English accent. And if she danced this way, everybody wanted to dance this way. And you could see these pop icons changing the thought and the lives and the mindset of millions and millions of people. And I was actually good at working within that framework to help singers get their voice out to those millions of people. And I thought, well, there must be some very, very far-reaching concept that is completely different than singing that I've got to find. And so I just studied everything and tried to learn everything and read a million books and went and sought out every expert on the subject. And I came full circle to realize that there is absolutely no difference whatsoever between singing, speaking, and performing. And once I realized that, after I'd already done all the study, man, I was off and running. Because look, every single time you get up to speak, people are making value judgments about you, whether you like it or not. You can't stop that. I get up to speak, you get up to speak, and the audience starts asking all kinds of random questions. And they're not even intelligent questions. They're like, what did he eat for breakfast? Did he have the tofu? Did he eat the burrito with the bacon? Did he this? Is he married? How long has he been married? Does he have any kids? How much money does he have in his bank? Does he have this? Does he have a vacation home? Where did he go to school? Where does he live? Random things. But you can be like, what color socks does he wear? And you don't even know where these thoughts are coming from because you're not thinking ahead of time with a list of questions that you'd like to ask. They're just popping into your brain. And worse than those questions that are popping into your brain are the answers that you are answering yourself because you don't know me. So you're deciding whether or not I had the bacon, and you're deciding where I live, and you're deciding if I'm married, and you're deciding if I have kids, and you're deciding all of these random things. Why did he wore those socks because of this reason. So your brain is filled with all of these answers. So true influence, I believe, has to do with the fact that I am a particular person with a particular message and particular beliefs and particular loves and particular desires and things that are important to me. And each one of you are. So the superhero that lives inside of you, maybe you're incredibly successful in business, maybe you have thousands of employees, maybe you have 50 companies. There's a superhero inside of you. But you regularly open your mouth and you then share your feelings, your visions, your thoughts with other people. And is there a connect or is there a disconnect between the sounds that are coming out of you and do people hear the superhero? I had a discussion with a friend of mine, Ananda Giri, who's a guru of this One World Academy. Anybody familiar with One World Academy? And he was like, people go there and they spend all of this time to find their true self, their inner voice. And when you find your inner voice, the belief is, his belief was that when you actually are self-realized, you'd be able to communicate in a way that other people would understand who you are and see your self-realization. And I say, that's not the case at all. Because my roster is full of the most self-realized, successful people in the world who communicate as if they were low-level, kind of shy, intimidated, non-powerful, not superheroes. And that there usually is a disconnect, often between the you that's inside and the you that you're able to share with other people. In the 60s and early 70s, Stanford and other universities did studies to try to prove what is it that makes me believable to you, the things that I say. what makes you believe the things. And the statistics then kind of got chunked into saying 7% of the words that I use matter to you. 7%. Well, we are consumed with content in this world. We're like, oh, if I just had the right words, and if I say this to her, she'll go out with me. If I just had the right words, my boss would give me the raise. Forget the raise, he'd just turn over the deed to the company. I love those words, Roger, so much. Would you like to own Zappos? We can call it our Zappos for Roger Zappos. All I need is the right words. And I prepare all night with the right words to go in and talk to Tony. Tony, this is why you should give me the company. And Tony says, has me escorted out. Jim pulls me out of the room by my shoe, and he says, oh, you're wearing black socks, right? And it didn't work. Why? Because 7%. So what? So I didn't want to get involved in understanding what the 7% was, but that 38% was tonality, the sounds your voice makes, aside from the words. 38%, I was like, that interests me, because nobody I could find was really helping people understand what tonality was. Tonality is pitch, pace, melody, volume, and tone. Pitch, pace, tone, melody, and volume. I'll explain that in a second. So I was like, that's it. That's my life mission. If I could help people connect with 38%, almost 40% of what would make them believable, and I was like, gee, I'm already doing that. I'm helping singers for the last 25 years get up and sing lyrics that they either wrote or they didn't write, and then they're influencing pop culture by the sounds that are coming out of their mouths. I'm really good at that. So why don't I take the same variables, pitch, pace, tone, melody, and volume that singers are using, and show presenters, show speakers, show teachers, show motivators how to utilize tonality, and that's what I'm going to show you today. Is anybody interested in that? So something as simple as breathing, because how many times do you go to seminars and I'm like, I'm going to teach you how to breathe, and you're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to teach you how I fall asleep during that next section. But I'm going to tell you a couple of things about breathing that you never thought of, and it will change the way that you sound, okay? You're supposed to breathe in through your nose. Everybody breathe in through their mouth like this, and raise their chest and shoulders all the way up. And keep their shoulders all the way up. Come on, shoulders up. Do not put your shoulders down. Wow, this is good. This is so comfy. I feel great about this. I love this. What if I could do this thousands, don't put them down. What if I could do this thousands and thousands and thousands of times a day? That certainly wouldn't create any tension or pressure in my neck, right? Okay, down. But most of you breathe like this. So you're doing that every other second. Every few seconds, you're raising your chest and shoulders, thinking you're going to get all this air in, and then you let the air out. So you're creating pressure and tension. And by the way, that's called accessory breathing. That's the way to get the least amount of air into your body as possible. And that's the way to have no control of how air comes back out. Well, I'm a singer, right? Which is a speaker, which is a presenter, which is a performer. And I want to have total control over the way that the air comes out. Why? Because what's riding out on the air? All my words. Who I am, what I want to talk about. All right? Now, everybody breathe in through their mouth, and you're going to feel a lot of dryness in your throat. Dry, right? Anybody feel dry? Okay, breathe in through your nose. No dryness. There are filters in the nose called turbinates, and when you breathe in through your nose, it becomes moist air, so that the air that goes to the vocal cords and to your throat isn't dry air, and it doesn't dry out your vocal cords. You've got a lot to say to people. Why do you want your voice to get all hoarse? Why do you want your vocal cords to get red and puffy and swollen so that you'll lose your voice? The human voice is set up to speak or sing 24 hours a day. We mess it up by breathing in through the mouth. Breathe in through your nose. Here's the other thing. You've all heard the concept of diaphragmatic breathing. Diaphragmatic breathing is simple. You breathe in through your nose, you pretend that you have a balloon in your stomach. Everybody put their hands on their tummies. Okay? When I say 3, on 3, take a breath in through your nose and pretend that you have a balloon in your stomach. So I say 3. Now I'm going to exhale, and my stomach's going to come back in. Let's do it again. It's the balloon. 3. Stomach comes out. In, exhale. Stomach comes back in. This is how I control air flow. This is how I control volume. This is how I control melody of my voice. Because now look, This is my new accelerator pedal. You swallowed an accelerator pedal, so you might as well use it. If I want the air to come out fast, I'll bring my stomach in fast. If I want the air to come out slow, I'll let my stomach come in slow. Now, I regulate how much air gets from here to the cords. Why? Because you're going to need it to put together some of the other things I'm going to teach you. You need to control air in and air out. That's how we should all breathe. You can only do that, by the way, if you have good posture. Chest up, shoulders back and down. Because if you round it over with your shoulders like this, you can hear in my breath, right? The rib cage is now blocking all of the air into the lungs. So we're all talking like this. We're all really, I know this, I know that, but I can't share it with you because my ribs are broken. Right? So watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Just posture. Because the rib cage is supposed to be out of the way. So those of you that round over your shoulders, realizing you're cutting your volume in half, easily in half, okay? So that's how we breathe. Melody, okay? The key element of the building blocks of voice, which is, like I said, the basics of tonality, pitch, pace, tone, melody, and volume, is melody. Most of us speak as if we were a broken down piano with one key. And you're like, oh, that's not me. And then I record you, and you're like this. Okay, this is what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about this. And then I'm a very, very exciting person who believes in love and passion. And I'm just, wow. I love my wife. I hate my wife. I love my dog. I hate my dog. I don't know what I feel about my wife or my dog right now, because it's the same melody. And then some of you are like, oh, that's not me. I'm way better than that. So then you'll say, well, I at least have two melodies. I'll be here, and I'll be this pitch, and I'll be what? And then I'll come back down to this one. Oh, I just love being here. I'm so excited. I just love this other pitch. And then I come back down here. And I can make it through my whole life just on two pitches. So I'm here. I love quick learning. Oh, yes, I'm so happy to be here with Jim. And oh, yes, shoes. I love shoes. Wait a minute. I love downtown. And you're making it through your whole life on like maybe two pitches. But a piano has at least 88 keys. Some pianos have 90 keys. A Bosendorfer has 2 extra for a couple of German symphonies that need 2 extra. So let's put them in. So if there's 88 keys on a piano, right? That's a lot. And if you're using 1 or 2 or 3, and I'm telling you, some of the greatest presenters are thinking that they can get by on a few notes, it's wrong. You need to go low and high. You need to really have all kinds of melody. Why? Here's the main reason. If I stay on the same note for any grouping of words, what happens is you start to think that you know what I'm going to sound like next. When you think you know what I'm going to sound like next, you think you know what I'm going to say next. When you think you know what I'm going to say next, you stop listening because you're like, I'm so much smarter than that dum-dum. My main goal is to get you to hear what I want to say next, what I'm saying now, and what I have to say next. It's a good learning process. I have things I want to teach. You have things you want to learn. I can't teach it to you if almost immediately you decide you're smarter than I am, and you decide that you already know what I know. And just staying on the same note makes that happen. So I'm telling all of you, you have to play this game of low, high, low. And you hear me do it all the time. I'm like, I'm down here for a second, and then I'm up here. And is it a random pattern? Yes, sometimes it's very random. But sometimes it's very, very calculated. Because it's like, when you go to a scary movie, and you hear the music in a scary movie, that's calculated. There are melodies set up in music that create emotions, right? Sad songs are written with certain melodies that just when you hear them, before you even hear the words, you're like, oh, this is a sad song. And some songs are like boom, 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 boom. And the melody's like, well, I just want to get up and dance. The guy hasn't even said a word yet. Right? So music is very, very connected to voice, to speaking, to sound. You need to force yourself. You need to record yourself on your little evil iPhone device, and you need to say, okay, Roger says maybe I have only one melody, but I'm wondering, can I play the game high and low, low and high? Everybody knows Happy Birthday, right? Okay, so let's make up a Happy Birthday song. Say, I love it downtown. I love it downtown. It's all very nice. It's all very nice. Maybe I should buy a building.
Maybe I should buy a building.
I shouldn't think twice.
I shouldn't think twice.
I love it downtown.
I love it downtown.
The buildings are nice.
The buildings are nice.
Maybe I should hang around here.
Maybe I should hang around here.
And I'll be much smarter.
And I'll be much smarter.
And sometimes I won't rhyme.
Sometimes I won't rhyme.
You need at least that kind of melody. Happy birthday to. You need to start down here and come up here. So you have to force yourself. And at the beginnings when you do that, you'll be like, I'm a cartoon. This is so silly. Roger, I mean, he's comfortable with being a cartoon, but I'm not comfortable with being a cartoon. And the answer is, the more cartoon you feel, the more you realize you are Miss and Mr. Monotone. Boring, the most intelligent person on the planet, and delivering your message in absolute boringness. And you'll love it, and people will stay more engaged, and it'll surprise them. Here's a quick tip to understand about melody. We are taught to go down at the ends of when commas and periods happen. Oh, I'm so excited to be here. I'm so very excited to be here when I get to a comma. I really go down and pretend that it doesn't matter to me at all. As a matter of fact, I get softer, as if the last word or last syllable didn't matter at all. And why should you listen to me? Because I just let you totally off the hook. And then when I get to a period, forget it, I'm really done. So you're telling your audience by the way that you're now dealing with melody, because we're taught to go down. Go down in melody and go down in volume. So every single comma and every single period, you are saying to your audience, here's something that's really, really important to me. No, stop. It's really not that important. Especially the last word of the sentence. No, not that important. And then when I'm done with the sentence, oh, I'm done for the whole day. Oh, wait a minute, there's more? So you have to, here's the rule, you have to stay on the same note or go up when you get to a comma or a period. I'm speaking and then I get to a comma, and I'll go to the next comma and maybe I'll go up. And when I go up, it says to the audience, he must have more. He couldn't possibly be finished because he left a note hanging in the air. And even though I don't play an instrument, my brain is telling me that there's more coming, and I better wait for it because there is more coming. So staying on the same note or going up evokes a whole different response in the audience, okay? I know people from Australia, and it's not everybody from Australia that just goes up at the end of everything. It sounds like a question, but so that's why I don't go up on every comma or question, every comma or period, but I go up on a lot of them or same note. Here's what happens. When you are trained, again, what do you do for a question mark? Do you love it here? You go up. And what happens when someone asks you a question? Your brain goes, oh, wait a minute, they just went up. I'm supposed to think of something now. It's my turn. He went up. Do you like green? It's my turn. My turn. And he wants me to say something. I got to think about something. So subliminally, when I go up, you think I'm asking you a question. And it keeps you engaged. But I'm not asking you a question, but I am trying to keep you engaged. Okay, that's enough about melody. Volume. We live in a world of whisperers. Whisperers. Man, I'm standing at the dry cleaner and I hear the person in front of me talking to somebody they know, and I'm trying to decide if it's even English or is it a language? Is it just grunting? How's it going? That's good. That's fine. That's fine. I don't know. Yeah, whatever. I'm like, that's it? And we started just being emailers, so we didn't talk to anybody. We can run the whole business online. Nobody will know us, right? And then it was like, oh, you know what? I wanted a little bit more personal than that. I want them to see that there's actually a person. So now I have to talk to some of the people, right? So now I'm so worried whether or not they're going to, think I'm a rotten person once they hear my voice. I mean, come on, who really likes their voice? You get a new phone, you go to leave your voicemail message, hi, this is Roger Love, I'm really a nice person, please call me back. And then you listen back and it says, like Snoopy hears, right? And you're like, who's that? Crappy microphone, horrible microphone. And then you're like, I'm gonna do it again. And you record it again. Hi, this is Roger Love. I'm gonna try it a little bit different now. I'm gonna do a little bit different kind of voice. And listen, worse, bad. You do it for 20 minutes, and you're like, I can't spend any more time doing that stupid message. And you're like, that's good enough. Good enough? It's not good enough. You hate it. You don't think it represents you, and you are walking around, meeting people today, meeting people tomorrow, going through your whole life with a billboard of your voicemail message, here is me. I don't really like it. I hope that you don't feel the same way. Because you haven't figured out how to make a voice that actually describes what you are all about, or that you decide what you are all about, okay? Volume is one of those things. You cannot be soft all the time. You are superheroes. Superheroes have trouble keeping their mouths shut because they know they have superhero power and they want to help. They want to instigate change. They want to move mountains. They want to blast through walls. They want to change mindsets and physiologies. They want to change systems. You can't do it softly. Don't rely on content. Be the focal point. People say to me yesterday, do you have any business cards? I'm like, I'm a voice coach. I use word of mouth. Right? I don't have any business cards. Word of mouth. Here are the sounds coming out of me. Get to know me by speaking to me. Decide whether you like me, whether you want to hear more. Okay, volume. You should speak as if people are 10 feet away all the time. All the time. And when you're breathing correctly and the stomach is coming back in, you will have more volume. The reason that most of you are whisperers, chronic whisperers, is because you don't breathe at all. And so then there's no air coming to the cords. Your stomachs are not moving in at all. You're like, whoa, I am powerful. I am a superhero. Come on, look at the companies, look at the this, look at the whatever. No, there's no connection between air coming back to the cords. If you want to be louder, you're going to learn the second most important thing other than melody. Only speak while your stomach is coming in. Write it down. Only speak while my stomach is coming in. Check this out. Look, if I take a breath and then nothing happens with my stomach, then I speak at this volume because I'm not using my accelerator pedal. I am now driving uphill without my foot on the accelerator pedal of the car, and I'm not going to go very fast. But if I speak with my stomach coming in, wow, all of a sudden it got louder, and I could use more melody, and I had just so much more fun. Because this is the fuel, this is the engine. Most of you have a tourniquet somewhere between the fuel tank and the engine. And I'm asking you to unlock the tourniquet by just letting your stomach come back in when you're speaking. How are we doing on time? How much time do I have left? 2 minutes. Wow. Melody, volume, okay? How fast or slow do we speak? Most of us speak too fast. Hi, I'm this company. Wow. I mean, I'm trying to make my brain work fast, but why are we forcing people to why are we cramming so much information in our elevator pitch? Better for you to have less words, more emotional sounds so that people like, well, enough with the elevator pitch. I want to have lunch with you. I just like the sounds that are coming out of your mouth. Slow down. How do you slow down? You get used to only speaking while your stomach is coming in, and then you have to stop to take another breath. And then you're going to speak while your stomach is coming in, and then you have to stop again to take another breath. Just by breathing my way, it will force you into a pattern of only getting so many words out while your stomach is coming in. That will slow you down. Slowing down is good. I'm not saying slow down to the point that people think, again, that you're a moron and that your brain works really slow and you can't figure out what you're going to say next and they don't care. I'm talking about slow in a way like singers do slow. Here's the words and here's the melody. And that I learned to stretch out certain words. When we talk about pace, One of the reasons that you're all fast speakers is because you've decided that every word is the same duration. So this is exactly how I talk. Every word has the same length. Every word is this length, and that's that blah, 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 and I'm really passionate about this, and I'm teaching this at this university and this, and I just came back from Harvard, and wait a minute, I gotta walk the dog. No, you'll never believe the way that I speak. The words that are important actually get stretched. Some of them are longer than others, just like the hills are alive, right? It isn't, the hills are alive with the sound of music. The songs have sung for 1,000 years. Music is written that some of the words have to go longer, some of the words have to go higher, some of the words have to get shorter. Why? Because they're trying to evoke emotions in the people that are listening. So, if I've accomplished nothing else, I want you to remember, you have to breathe into your nose, you have to pretend you have a balloon in your stomach, you have to let your stomach come in while you're speaking, you have to force yourself to go lows and highs until you realize that the character that you've become is just more interesting sound-wise. You have to force yourself to be louder, louder in a way that fills up the room with how incredible you are and what an amazing superhero you are. And that you have to take the responsibility for the way that you sound and allow yourself to create a character that is vocally the you that's inside and sonically matched to the incredibleness, the superhero-ness, the power that you are inside, and they should be the same person. And then your message and who you are and your power and your influence and your abilities will be magnified times 1,000,000 because people will have the inside of you visible in the air in front of them and in their ears. Thank you so much.